Hey there, Twisted Sage here. Welcome back to another edition of the Aquarian Ramble. We have Sun conjunct Saturn today at 4 degrees Aquarius, and we still have the Moon in Gemini, 15 degrees. I gotta say, yesterday was a lovely day of work. Guess that would make sense since this conjunction of Sun and Saturn sextiles my Uranus. We look to Saturn also for our career status, what type of work that we will perform to support our structure. Got a little bit more weather. That storm's continuing. Perhaps actually we're headed into a bit of a 3-day storm. Woohoo! I myself, I guess I would say a majority of people obviously don't like cold weather. I get it. I find purity in it myself. One thing I love is there's no motherfucking flies, no annoying insects. But obviously skiing and snowboarding is a bit more of a Capricorn Aquarian type sports. Kind of was having a conversation with the father of the son I was teaching yesterday about maybe it was a lady on the chairlift. Anyways, but obviously there's competition in these sports, but for the most part, your general person is not out there doing it just to compete. They're out there for just because the thrill and the fun of movement. I'll touch a little bit more on my grandfather thing. I guess what ticked me off is my uncle's not planning on holding a service for his own father. And I find that heavily disrespectful. I don't care how you felt about him. He wasn't okay. Whatever. My uncle has his reasons to have been upset with him, but without him, he wouldn't have been the bad motherfucker he was. I think my uncle won the seniors championship in Vegas a couple years ago for I want to say bull riding. But yeah, that's just like everyone deserves a fucking service. So I don't know, perhaps it'll be a very small service between my mom, I, and my son. But God, definitely have to have a moment. Jesus. Christ on a cross, as my friend Craig would say. I'd say mark your calendar date for the 16th of Feb. I want to say that's the first day of the smallest orb between the square of Uranus and Saturn. I would think the day of, maybe the day before, a significant earthquake that hits the headlines. Taurus dealing with the most solid of physical Earth. Uranus dealing with suddenness, the lightning striking, the shaking. But then we're going to see the square with Saturn, and Saturn rules squares. Saturn rules structure. So, if not, we probably will, I would think, something of a significant one. I believe Saturn and Uranus will square up at least 3 times this year. So perhaps maybe it won't happen until the end. Maybe the third one, I haven't checked the date yet, but maybe the third the third square between Uranus and Saturn will be the cataclysmic, perhaps setting off volcano, pushing us towards a grand solar minimum. Yeah, check out Diamond on Magnetic Reversal News or Oppenheimer Ranch Project. He is a Virgo, about that precision. And the data shows that we're probably headed towards a mini ice age. And I believe it would kick off somewheres around 2030. 2030 to 2050. Maybe that's irrelevant to some of us, but don't believe the global warming narratives. Not that the globe hasn't warmed, but everything is cycles. So once it warms, then it starts to go into a cooling. If you've ever heard of the term a golden age, that's because our sun has a partner star. I'm sure I might have mentioned this before, but so when they come closest together is when we experience a golden age, and consciousness is on tilt. Like it's there's more togetherness. I want to say a heavier mental psychic connection. And so when the dark ages are always when those two suns are at their furthest point apart. So we might not be quite near the next golden age. And just like a mini ice age, we might have a mini golden age. But we might be something like 6,000 years away from the next true golden age. But either way, so he speaks of the sun going in is called grand solar minimum, which would make sense that the sun is ruled by Leo. That was the last golden age, was when the sun was in Leo. That's when they speak of Atlantis. But that was like something like 12,000 years ago. So, yeah, so we're not quite there yet. Anywho, but yeah, cycles, ebbs and flows, yin yang. What goes up must come back down. In some fashion or another, whether you get high on substances or food or experiences or people, we're all trying to reach a place of highness. But the higher you can't have the highs without also having the lows. And it's kind of, I don't know, I'm looking for the metaphor within the skiing industry that we climb the mountain or sit on a chair to get to the top of the mountain, and that it's the fall is where the fun is. The coming down the hill. I guess we'll touch on the suicide thing again. Other astrologers have spoken on it. There's many that are probably not going to be able to handle all the mental activity of the Aquarian energy. it rules the nervous system in the body. So, who's going to have the toughest with this kind of energy? Leos. I guess what we're going to say Cancers as well. The fact that Aquarius rules their 8th house. So Cancers is the most sensitive sign in the zodiac. So, they're always just kind of looking for comfort. It rules home. Looking for comfort. Cancers have favorite sweatshirts, favorite blankets, like to snuggle. And the Aquarian energy does nothing but, give craziness to their deep emotions. I can speak from experience, being a Cancer moon with a lot of heavy Aquarian energy, and my Cancer moon is in the 11th house. Cancer doesn't want to fuck with that shit. I would maybe like to hear more about why it was perceived that if you committed suicide, you were going to hell. I think for one, it kind of takes a lot of courage, I would say, to kill yourself. I don't know that it's maybe certain situations when it goes down, it's a coward's move. But at the same time, it takes some serious goal to be able to follow through with such an action. Some people's biggest fear is expiring and dying. But I feel like that's because they just don't understand that it never ends. If checking out's what you feel is your only way out, then by all means, do it. At least from what I've experienced and seen in my existence this go around, I myself have, I guess I can't say never say never. I feel like I owe it to some people not to ever take that route. Man, these fucking cops are hot and fucking heavy. But anyways, yeah, I feel like if you're a sensitive, emotional enough person, you will experience the experience of not wanting to be here. Again, most of your people that commit suicide are water signs, or perhaps going through a water transit. We also look to see what Mars is doing, because Mars is the action. So, perhaps we could probably look at the moon too to see where the emotional trigger occurs. This young woman that just took her life, being a Cancer, she did this act underneath a Taurus moon. Now, a Taurus moon is exalted. It's that foundation, unshakable emotion. It's fixed emotion. And for a Cancer, it's called a trine. I'm sorry, sextile. But what else do we have in Taurus? Uranus and Mars. Action and suddenness. So, the conjunction of those two planets probably shook her emotional foundation. I would think that those two had something to do with it. That, and I would say Venus would have been the planet that was most opposed her chart, because she was a later degree yeah, she was kind of a middle degree Cancer, and I want to say 18 degrees, and that would have made Venus directly opposing her. So, as far as squares, what else? Nothing would have been square in her. All right. Well, happy winter days for northern Arizona. And shake it up.